This week we read the double portion of Achrei Kedoshim, and at first glance these two parshiot seem very different. Achrei begins with one of the most intense and sacred moments of the year, the Yom Kippur service in the Beit HaMikdash, the temple. We read about the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, entering the Holy of Holies, a place so sacred that no one else could enter, and even he could only do so once a year. Then we move into Kedoshim, which feels very different. Suddenly, instead of the temple, we're talking about everyday life, how to treat others, being honest in business, respecting parents, not gossiping, leaving food for the poor. So the question is obvious. Why are these two parshiot connected? What connects the holiest day and the holiest place with how we behave in our daily lives? Let's begin with the opening of Achrei Kedoshim. The Torah begins by referencing the death of Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron, who died when they brought an unauthorized offering before God. Rashi explains something very powerful there. He says that the Torah reminds us of their death right before describing the Yom Kippur service to teach us a warning. Holiness is powerful, but it can also be dangerous if approached incorrectly. Nadav and Avihu weren't evil. In fact, many commentaries say they were extremely holy people. Their mistake was that they tried to get too close to God on their own terms. So before describing the holiest moment of the year, the Torah says, there is a right way to approach holiness. Holiness is not about intensity alone. It's about discipline, structure, and boundaries. This idea is developed beautifully by Rambam, or Maimonides. Rambam explains that the Torah's goal is not just to create spiritual moments, but to shape a person's character. A person can't just chase spiritual highs, they need balance. He emphasizes the idea of the middle path, not going to extremes. So even when it comes to something as holy as Yom Kippur, the Kohen Gadol doesn't just act spontaneously. Everything is measured, structured, and precise. Because true holiness is not chaos, it's controlled. And that leads us directly into the next parsha. At the beginning of Kedoshim, the Torah says, "You shall be holy, for I, Hashem your God, am holy." That sounds inspiring, but also confusing. What does it actually mean to be holy? Rashi gives us a very specific answer. He explains that holiness means separating ourselves from inappropriate behavior, especially in areas of relationships and morality. In other words, holiness is not just about what we do, it's about what we don't do. It's about restraint. Rambam takes this even further. He explains that holiness is not limited to the temple or to special occasions. Instead, it shows up in how we live every day. How we eat, how we speak, how we do business, how we treat other people. A person could technically follow all the laws, but still live in a selfish or excessive way. So the Torah commands, be holy, meaning elevate even the ordinary parts of life. The Chassam Sofer makes a powerful observation. He says that some people think holiness means separating completely from the world, going off, disconnecting, and avoiding society. But the Torah places Kedoshim right after Achrei Kedoshim to teach the opposite. After the most intense spiritual experience, the Yom Kippur service, the Torah doesn't tell us to stay in the temple. It sends us back into the world. Why? Because real holiness is not about escaping the world, it's about transforming the world. Holiness is being honest in business, speaking kindly to others, treating people with dignity, acting with integrity when no one is watching. That's why Kedoshim is filled with practical mitzvot, because holiness is meant to be lived, not just experienced. Rav Soloveitchik offers a very deep insight that ties everything together. He explains that there are two types of holiness. Sanctuary holiness, the holiness of the temple, of Yom Kippur, of sacred moments, and everyday holiness, the holiness of daily life. Many people think these are separate, but Rav Soloveitchik says they are meant to be connected. The purpose of the intense holiness of Yom Kippur is to inspire us to carry that sense of purpose into our everyday lives. If holiness stays in the synagogue, it's incomplete. The goal is to bring holiness into our homes, our workplaces, our relationships. One of the most famous commands in Kedoshim is you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Rashi explains this very simply. Treat others the way you would want to be treated. Rav Soloveitchik points out something deeper. This mitzvah appears not in a section about prayer or the temple, but in a section about daily interactions. because loving others is not just a moral value, it is a form of holiness. When we treat others with kindness and respect, we are bringing God's presence into the world. So now we can answer our original question. Why are Achrei Kedoshim connected? Because they teach one unified message. Achrei shows us the power of holiness in its highest form. Kedoshim teaches us how to bring that holiness into everyday life. The Torah is telling us, don't leave holiness in the temple, don't limit it to Yom Kippur, take it with you, into your conversations, into your work, into how you treat other people. Holiness is not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about taking small, everyday actions and elevating them. So this week, maybe the question to ask ourselves is simple. What is one ordinary moment that I can make more meaningful? Because that's what it means to live a life of Kedoshim. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.